Oh, it was Power here the review with the Kamen Rider Zero-One. Almost said Geo. DX KamenRiding Decade Progrise key. So this is the first of the DX Legend Rider Progrise keys that they released. Obviously, still in the packaging of typical Progrise keys, but instead decades up here. There are no forms associated with these, which I'm happy about because I probably wouldn't have liked them. So there's the Progrise key itself, obviously Decade, Progrise, and they actually have the rider's respective logo in there. So obviously you have Decade and Zero-One. Decade, and it just says Kamen Rider Zero-One, Kamen Rider Decade because Zero-One is So there's Zero-One and Decade, and the back is all the functionality, and a picture of Decade that they most likely used up here because lazyism. Here's the Progrise key itself. Now the interesting thing with the Legend Rider Progrise keys is that, as you can see here, the front plate is like, I'm gonna say a silver. It just, I don't want to say it's white, but the base of it is actually like magenta, which is actually pretty neat. So with these Legend Rider Progrise keys, are going two-tone instead of just the one singular color, which really makes them stand out. Also, we got the name KamenRiding Decade, which is just KamenRiding Decade. Gosh, because you can't say Decade with KamenRiding in front of it. That's just... The ability is Destroy. There's the illustration of Decade, because these ones they cheapened out, as you can see later. Obviously the magenta back, which is really blinding. This, the QR code for Gamba, and this one's 090. I'm pretty sure these just summon the riders, again, just like the ride watches. If we open it up, this is pretty interesting, obviously because they're going with the concept of exoskeletons, just like the Progrise keys, but this one's kind of the opposite, because inside you actually get an image of the rider, which is just, again, a stock image of them. And then what's interesting is that you have the rider symbol in there too, but however, obviously just because how this works, it's technically doesn't work, but then it gives you like them in both places. So there's Decade's rider symbol, and let's get on with the sounds.
Destroy. Ability.
And obviously with the ability sounds, you get a sound from them.
Destroy. Ability.
And yeah, let's start with everything Zero-One related. I'm starting out with the shot riser for a specific reason, because
Destroy. Authorize. Shot rise.
so just like the Legend Rider Gashats, these actually reuse previously established jingles. So in this case, it uses Lightning Hornet, which is why I'm gonna... So the first one I'm gonna do for all of these is what I mostly believe they should belong to. So
Destroy. KamenRiding Blast.
so there we get the KamenRiding Blast Fever.
Destroy.
They also still retain the same standby.
KamenRiding Blast.
And another thing I should point out too is that while the first part of the attack is, original to the rider, they're actually using the base of the sound is actually from the Progrise key they have the sound off of. So the other half of the attack is from Lightning Hornet.
Destroy.
Yes, so we already know. Zero-One driver to prove its position.
Destroy. Authorize.
So there we have the full jingle, which you can, I guess, if you can catch on to that, that's definitely Lightning Hornet, which is a weird choice. I feel like I'll throw Decade in a pile of they just need to use up jingles.
KamenRiding Impact.
And for this case, we'll be using Rocking Hopper, even though I am recording this now and putting this up later. That's kind of an issue. So I guess I'm going to have to hope that I get all of them by then.
KamenRiding Impact.
Like, I guess what I'm saying is that obviously I'm gonna probably try to get the majority of these. And then 02, so then continuity makes sense. Because again, it's June 8th, 12:39 a.m. Force Riser.
Destroy. Progrise. KamenRiding Decado. Destroyer of wormholes.
So there's a few things to note. First of all, the LED in here doesn't glow as well, obviously.
KamenRiding.
And the thing here is that with the Force Riser and Shot Riser, they're programmed to start the sound earlier due to them extending their transformation. They're just adding not a syllable. They're just adding a word to where the sound would happen. So now we need to do the flickers.
KamenRiding Utopia. KamenRiding Dystopia. KamenRiding Utopia.
I failed to mention in its own review that this was actually going to be featured from now on, even though I don't think. Again, I don't know what's going to be the first Zero-One video after I'm done with my initial ones.
Destroy.
So that's an issue.
Cyclone Rise. Destroyer of wormholes.
This you can just see how bad the LED on here is, like on these Force Risers in general. And honestly, because of that extended sound, it just doesn't work as well.
KamenRiding Spark. KamenRiding the End.
KamenRiding the end. Obviously, as I suggested before, if you want this to actually sound more accurate, just try to get authorization.
Cyclone Rise. KamenRiding Decado. Destroyer of wormholes.
Just hear how better that sounds. So I have to have an explanation as to why he chose the weapon it chose. Remember that Telvikun bazooka?
Destroy. Progrise key confirmed. Ready to utilize. Decade ability. Kamen Riding attacks.
And because I said this, we're actually going to return to actually forming this right away.
Shotgun rise.
Because of time.
Kamen Riding Kamen shot. Charge rise. Kamen Riding charge. Full charge. Kamen Riding Kamen Master. Charge rise.
So that's essentially it for KamenRiding Decade. I can't. I know it's decade, but then it's just like with words I have to pronounce it as decade, which is incorrect because then, you know, gotta stick with English. But obviously this is just these like I'm probably gonna say this all the time, but these are really optional. It's just unless you're a big fan of that rider, then go ahead. For me, what got me into getting the majority of these is just because the English and the jingles. But yeah, obviously, if you're a big fan of Decade, then go for it. But other than that, they're optional. This is PowerRider, and I'll leave people. How the heck did this get 14 minutes?